The Bermuda International Film Festival kicks off this weekend. Among the highlights will be an acting workshop with Hollywood star Karen Allen, perhaps best known for her role in 2 of the Indiana Jones films. She's appeared in dozens of movies, working with Al Pacino, George Clooney, Meryl Streep, and a host of others. Our reporter Hal Davies spoke to her today, and he began by asking her which of her many films was her favorite.
It's very hard to say what, one being a favorite one. I think they're all favorite when you're working on them. You're putting your whole heart into them. And, some have certainly had a kind of longevity in my life in terms of, certainly Marion Ravenwood in Raiders of the Lost Ark, because I returned to that character 20 years later. And, who knows? We might continue working on that. That certainly was a wonderful one. I did this wonderful film called Starman. It had a character named Jenny Hayden, with Jeff Bridges. That was an awful lot of fun to do. I think, there's a lot that have been favorites, so it's hard to pick. It's like saying who's your favorite child or something. I only have one, so that's not hard for me. But
I mean, the Indiana Jones films, they're huge, big budget ones with big stars, Spielberg, and what's it like working on that sort of size of production?
Well, it's different. I mean, it's a very different experience. It's pretty fantastic, because when I went to do Raiders of the Lost Ark, I had only done maybe 3 or 4 films, and for the most part they'd been, location films, modern day, and suddenly I was in England on these incredible sets that were being built by extraordinary artists, and it was a fantastical world, set in the 40s, and it sort of blew me away. I mean, it was entering a whole nother world, kind of old Hollywood kind of way of filmmaking, when these huge created sets.
Your character is very much a sort of a feminist icon in some respects. She thwacks Indiana Jones around the face. What do you make of this sort of revival of sort of feminism in Hollywood over the last year?
Hey, the more the merrier. I mean, it's fantastic. It's, well, it's happening on a lot of different levels. I mean, I think it's happening in the characters that are being written for films, and the films that are actually rising, to prove that they can do well in the business aspect of it all. But I'm all in favor of bringing more women into the entire film business on every single level.
And you've got your own film out here, A Tree, a Rock, a Cloud.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to get money together for that?
Well, it was, as a matter of fact. I thought that would be one of the easiest parts of it, but that was just my own lack of experience. So, we found it a grind getting the money together. I mean, short films are particularly difficult because there's really not a big commercial market. You're really asking for contributions. You're not asking for investments. I mean, the investment is in, the material, or in the director, or in the actors, or but there's no return necessarily. So that's a particularly hard thing, because you're competing with all kinds of other ways people could be contributing money, and there's a lot of other things out there that are really much more deserving than a short film. But
does this mean you're turning your back on acting slightly, or you're going to carry on doing sort of movies as well?
I've been directing for about 10 years, mostly in the theater. This is my first foray into film. No, I'll continue. I think I continue doing both. It makes my life more interesting to have both.
Right, and you're here in Bermuda for the festival, the beginning of the festival, and you're doing a acting masterclass. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh, very much, very much. So I don't quite know what the format is yet. It's might be like a little seat of the pants, but that's always makes it fun and exciting.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Enjoy the great weather. Good night.
Tonight, the new video showing the moment